All right, folks. All
Terrible.
right.
So fun.
What up, fellers?
What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot.
Good to have you boys back for episode 10 of the Darkest Hour. Our Dark and Darker podcast.
Extra dark this week.
Extra dark. The dark grows darker.
Yep.
Yeah. It's been a turbulent time. What's up?
I bought stevia soda today. Not all that.
Yeah, it sucks.
No.
It's not great.
It's
okay.
gross, yeah.
Is it better than just like normal diet soda, though?
It tastes almost exactly the same to me.
Huh.
Like, I don't really notice much of a difference. But hey, it beats drinking like 35 grams of fucking can, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Do you guys like Pepsi?
Yeah,
I love Pepsi.
Oh, it's so gross.
No.
Oh.
I can't tell the difference.
From Coke and Pepsi? Oh, there's a big difference, dude. You're crazy. Did you know that the Coca-Cola Corporation has a monopoly on the specific tea leaf that has that specific flavor in Coca-Cola, and that they just
own it?
They own all the fields of it. They own the tea, and they have it guarded, and I can't remember where, in like South America or some shit. But yeah, no one else is allowed to use that tea or has access to it. Just Coca-Cola Corporation.
Corporate America.
That's crazy.
And they probably bought it for pennies on the dollar, like 100 years ago.
That's why Coke has such a unique taste compared to everything else. And then everything else kind of has like a more artificial, weird flavor. Like stevia kind of tastes like artificial sweetener, like Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. Even Diet Coke, which is part of the Coca-Cola Corporation, has a lot of artificial bullshit in it. And then stevia is just like a weaker, shittier version of the type of tea leaf. I don't even think it's tea. I can't remember what stevia is. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that bullshit. The more you know. Yeah, it's been a turbulent, weird time for Dark and Darker fans. And especially...
Very worrying.
Very worrying. And especially for Iron Mace, our intrepid heroes that are making Dark and Darker. A sweet little indie game that we love so much so that we created this fucking podcast.
Yep.
Boys, Dark and Darker is in danger. We must protect. We must protect. No, for real though.
Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Nexon slapping Iron Mace with a cease and desist, a DMCA notice on Dark and Darker. It's been worrisome. I think that we need to stay calm and stay positive and send good energy their way. We have a lot to look at and read about the current case and what's going on. There was just a big info drop from Terrence, the CEO of Iron Mace, in their
5,000 word count.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was dropped in
the Discord word count.
Yeah, he had to he had to slap out multiple messages to get it all in. But there's a lot to go over. This episode was supposed to be dedicated to a full-on chat Q&A. That was the plan. But I don't think we should do that. I think we should probably do that next Sunday instead.
True.
It just makes more sense to cover this, right? In my opinion. I don't know.
Of course.
This is quite the message. I love that every little like quip he had to put in, it's got a million reactions.
Oh yeah, a lot of fans.
His essay is broken up with little reactions halfway through every time. This is hilarious.
Now
I'm surprised they didn't spell Nexon in the reactions.
That'd be funny.
Perfect.
That's actually hilarious. Now I will say, I know having a positive outlook and being confident that everything will pull through could be naive. But it's really all we got. There's no point in being fucking babies about it and crying about it. We just have to hope that Iron Mace's pro bono lawyer can figure this out. And I just made that up. I don't know if that's true.
So you didn't cry yourself to sleep a couple days ago. Just me.
No tears. But I did dream about the last play test that we played and thought that might be the last time we ever play the fucking game. But you never know. They could pull it out. I don't think it's the end of the game, but I also do not think that we'll be enjoying a playtest on April 14th. I think that's probably not going to happen, unfortunately for us. I do think they'll survive. I think the case, after the info dump today, I think the case that Nexon has is rather weak. And we'll go over it here in a minute. But what do you guys think? What did you guys initially think when you heard the news? I guess the first thing that kind of alerted everyone was the Steam page was completely removed. They're still in the Steam database, but if you type in Dark and Darker in Steam, it ain't there. That was spooky. The demo, yeah, same.
Yeah, but I mean that's just the DMC, or not DMCA, but cease and desist, right? Like they just have to remove all that stuff.
For now,
I think that's yeah.
They sent it to Valve, so
yeah,
they specifically said you gotta get that shit off your launcher.
That is tough.
It sucks. I don't think we have to count it out yet, though. I mean, Nexon still has to prove it, and they still have to win the case, right? So
yeah, but how long is that going to take?
That is the question.
I mean, I imagine this is like a Korean law case, right? How similar does anyone have any idea how similar Korean law is to American law?
Not a clue. No idea.
So
and here's the thing, isn't there a Korean court case and a US court case? Aren't they fighting two legal battles? I think I read that in the Discord, but I don't know who to trust in there. That Dark and Darker Discord, by the way, man, people were fired the fuck up.
Yeah.
After it was taken down on
Steam. Still going.
It is a shit show in there. There are a lot of angry people. I get it. But my God. It's pretty bad.
Part of me, after a while, was like, man, I wonder if they could use this Discord as like some bad proof or something, some bad evidence, because those people are crazy. It's basically a cult. Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was like outright like calls for violence and shit, and like, that's what I mean. Like, it was a shit show. Like, it was. People were just like, "This is my favorite game in the world. I'm grabbing my guns and flying to Korea. Let's get some C4." Like, it was a lot. Like, some people,
rate your DC base.
I know it's edgy to say that kind of shit, but I feel like some of those sweaty fucks meant it.
Oh, they mean it. 100%.
Not good. That's not going to help Iron Mace at all.
I mean, you can mean it, but logistically, that's not going to happen. So let's hope not.
Right.
They ain't getting past TSA, the finest government force in America. Just kidding.
Well, settled for the review bombing Nexon games. I respect it.
Hey,
I may or may not have negatively reviewed MapleStory after never playing it. I'll let you find it.
I have 8 billion hours in this game.
That's
it
hilarious.
Is dog. Yeah.
Well, I hope one day we get to pet Otto in the tavern again. That's what really matters.
Yep.
Otto
the husky.
You see the private server team, though.
Weren't they shut down too? I mean, they have to.
I don't know. I just know they made some announcement. They're like, all right, it's time to work on it again. We need all the help we can get. They made some YouTube announcement. Apparently they had some meeting yesterday. Like a bunch of people, like a big old call about how they can get it done faster.
Interesting indeed. Okay, we'll have to pay attention to that. I thought that something like that, like a couple of fellas creating a private server or something like that, would also just be shut down. Like Iron Mason would be like, hey, you guys kind of have to, right now, it's not helping our case,
Originally, Iron Mason told them to do it, don't monetize it.
You can play Dark and Darker right now on a private server?
I don't think they're that far. They said they can get into the map so nothing loads, like no items, no no enemies or anything. And I'm sure it's offline. So you'd be all by yourself, just PvE simulator.
I would do it. Alone in the dark.
I'll be soloing bosses like a god. What else are you gonna do?
That? I would probably play something else, unfortunately. But that's interesting. I mean, that's cool from the company, because I don't know if you guys know about the solo Escape from Tarkov mod, but BSG bans people for playing that thing. Like you get you're not allowed to play the solo Tarkov mod.
Happens a lot with
I did hear
studios.
Nexon will go after private servers for MapleStory.
Of
Which
course.
is weird because Blizzard doesn't.
Well,
Blizzard doesn't do it at all.
no, they do.
Makes me wonder why.
They do.
They do
yeah,
if
you
you charge like a subscription, but donations they don't touch them. At least that I've seen.
Oh, really?
That's crazy.
I know you can't stream it. Like you can't make any kind of content on a private server on Twitch or
really?
YouTube.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't want any advertising that will take away from potential money. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
It makes sense.
Makes sense.
Because that's you know S-Van. That's like how he got started.
Yep.
He was a big private WoW streamer, and then they're like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, they said you can't do that. Wow.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well, I mean, I think he got a content strike or something from YouTube and like moved to Twitch or something wild.
Oh.
I forget. But yeah, he had to stop doing it.
So, boys, shall we go over this information that Terrence dropped in the Discord server? This is
You're reading
more...
it top to bottom.
Yeah, fuck yeah. We should read it all.
Are you?
Right?
All right.
We
Come
could
get
take
comfy.
turns. We could take turns.
Little
I was
popcorn
going to do
reading
it
so you was
earlier.
paying attention.
Yeah.
They give you
I can't pull
flashbacks.
it up. I'm streaming the Discord. I can't do it.
Right, you're just sitting there chilling, and then all of a sudden they go, Jay, it's your turn.
My audio book. I already read it though, so I'll try and remember as you go along.
I mean, I know it's not the most exciting content ever, but I think it's important. I think it's important to cover. I really do.
You have to word for word read it.
You have the perfect audiobook voice. I think it's fun.
I think
Sure.
I think the viewers want to know. We owe it to the podcast. We owe it to us as fans of Dad to read it. All right. So Terrence, the CEO, today at 9:41 a.m. PT, added everyone, and he linked the DMC takedown from Nexon. He linked their response of the identical file names. He said, coming soon, since this issue is newsworthy in Korea, we'll be preparing the response in Korean. Makes sense. Response from our concept artists about the copyrighted character design, source list for the assets purchased from the Unreal Marketplace, videos showing key milestone builds from our first playtest builds until the more recent playtests, and git logs and file lists for the first year of development. So they're being obviously very open. They're feeling pretty confident.
Yep.
That's good. That's good. Look, we might be fans of Iron Mace. We might be huge fans of the game, but we don't know, technically speaking, if they're actually innocent. Just saying. We just hope they are. We just hope they are.
I refuse to believe that they're that dumb, but that's just my
yeah, why would you risk that? That's like not just risking your company and the game that you are excited about making. It's risking legal fees, your career, your reputation. I'm pretty sure Terrence, the CEO, got a loan from his sister, if you recall, in an interview to help make this game.
Oh, really?
You're risking like family money. Why would they be that dumb? They don't seem that dumb, right? They really don't.
Yeah.
And I will say, I know this is going to be unpopular to some people, but even if they did do something wrong, I consider them Robin Hood at this point. Was Robin Hood a bad guy? Was he? He was a thief.
Never seen it.
In his hot green tights and his little bow. But you know what? He stole from the rich and gave to the poor, and he was a hero to some. That's
okay, but to play devil's advocate here, if there is nothing there, why would Nexon be pursuing it so thoroughly?
I think that's what we're going to find out as we read, sir.
Okay, let's do it. I'm down.
Let's do it. Okay. We are Iron Mace Co., Ltd., a South Korean independent video game developer known for developing the PC game Dark and Darker. This letter is intended to address the serious allegations of copyright infringement and misappropriation of trade secrets that have been levied against us in the recent DMCA takedown notice from Nexon Korea Corporation. Fuck you, Nexon.
Yep.
Nexon states that according to their investigation, Dark and Darker appears to have been built and developed using trade secrets and copyrighted information copied and stolen from Nexon. We would like to show that these allegations are baseless. No copyrighted materials or misappropriated trade secrets from Nexon were used by Iron Mace. Okay. In the takedown notice, bold to say. Okay. In the takedown notice, Nexon lists their registered copyrights pertaining to the P3 project. That is the project Nexon was working on, apparently.
Dim Dungeons.
Yep. I guess it looked similar to Dark and Darker. Pretty fucking similar, actually. Do you guys want to fish up some screenshots, actually, and I can show it on stream while I read this? We'll show screenshots, side-by-side screenshots here in a second, which were registered just last month. That's key. In the takedown notice, Nexon lists their registered copyrights pertaining to the P3 project, their project, which were registered just last month, more than 6 months after Dark and Darker was revealed to the public as the subject of the alleged infringement. They probably were like, oh my God, look at this fucking beauty that Iron Mesa slapped together with fucking assets from Unreal. Wow. Look how popular this is. Look how many people are playing it. It's blowing up in the West, which is a market that Nexon typically doesn't capture. They probably got fucking nerd boners and were like, we gotta ruin this. Maybe.
They said, wow, it looks like a game we axed about 2 years ago.
Link the side-by-side screenshots when you get
They just saw it and they're like, how do I monetize this? What do you mean? You're making a game without microtransactions?
Okay.
Oh, man.
Let's see here. The first point of the contention appears where they accuse one of our members of acquiring and transferring key assets. You guys might not be able to read below this, but don't worry about it. I'll read past the cameras here.
Zoom in. Why don't you zoom in and...
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well. Yeah, it's blocks.
Maybe
okay.
too much.
It's all right. I'll just read it. You guys can believe me. Let's see here. The first point of contention appears where they accuse one of our members of acquiring and transferring key assets to his personal server without authorization, resulting in an unlawful transfer. Here's our response to this claim. That's the covered text here from the cameras. Due to a mandatory remote work policy implemented by Nexon in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the accused member received multiple written authorizations from executive members at Nexon from 2020 to 2021, allowing him to utilize an external personal server to improve the performance of his team. Example given, version control, build machine, and dedicated server. After utilizing the personal servers for almost a year, the accused member asked the leadership if it was okay to continue using his personal servers. The leaders told him to refrain from using the personal servers. The accused member agreed to take down the servers as long as he could maintain the performance of his team by having his programming team come to the office, bypassing the company-wide remote work policy. That's important information. They allowed this man to use a personal server to work because of COVID-19 bullshit. Everyone got locked down. Right?
One thing to note.
Yeah.
In the DMCA letter that they sent to Valve, Nexon said they didn't allow him to do it. But in Iron Mesa's response, he says he has multiple written authorizations. So,
well, he's going to have to prove that. He is 100% going to have to prove that. Did you guys find images, side-by-side images?
I can try.
Here, I can do it. So here's Project P3. I mean,
you can see the inspiration for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, the mobs. I mean, I think that mob is almost exactly in the game.
It is.
I mean, yeah. So.
But guess what? This looks like fucking garbage. Dark and Darker's better. My dad's better than yours. Yeah.
It's similar. It's definitely inspired by it. It looks a little different. The aesthetic is different. You can tell the character assets are different. If you want to go back, like that's not the character model in Dark and Darker. But design-wise, that is
it's pretty fucking similar. It is. It is pretty similar. Not great. I remember when these screenshots first dropped, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, even the text on the top right is like, it's like exact same.
Yeah, not great.
It's definitely they copying the format a little bit.
I would argue more than a little bit, but I think the assets are their own. I think all that stuff is its own. But
if this is the case of some Nexon devs leaving, them pulling together a new band of merry adventurers and developers that wanted to save this cool concept that was getting dumpstered by Nexon. Yeah. They started from the ground up with their own code, but they just remembered the aesthetic and how it looked. And this is what they did with Dark and Darker. Can you really blame them? I don't know. Is that illegal? I don't know.
Well, video game copyright is weird, right? Because it's not illegal to make a very similar game. Like League of Legends, or whenever Blizzard made, what was their MOBA called?
Heroes of the Storm.
Not sure.
Here's the Storm.
Oh,
Here's
that
the
one.
Storm is basically the exact same design of League of Legends, right? But it was different. It had its own assets. It had Blizzard characters. It had its own spin on it. So it's like, at what point is it,
Here's a New Earth.
copyright?
Yeah, Kill a Hippo. Called it out with
Yeah.
in my chat. Here's a New Earth. It all came from Dota. That came from, say it with me, Defense of the Ancients, a use map settings mod in StarCraft.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
We stand
heard about
on the
that alt
shoulders
too.
of giants, my friends.
I think video game copyright is kind of weird in that way, right? Where it's like, as long as they didn't use any assets from this, they just made a game that was very similar in design. Sure, they still put their own spin on it. They did their own thing. Like the UI is different, the inventory system is probably different, all that. But it's a very similar game, so it's like, is that copyright? I don't know. I don't know like where the line is with that.
I just made a mistake, by the way. It was not StarCraft. It was Warcraft 3 modding, not StarCraft.
But I
My
mean, you
bad.
can see they have blue
Misremembered
portals.
it.
I don't see red. I don't see red portals. So that's their own spin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's yeah, who knows? But I mean, you can clearly tell these guys worked there and were like, they're gonna cancel our game. Let's go make it on our own. So I mean, that's clearly what happened. But did they copyright it all? Is the question. So, but,
Yeah, and Advocar, thank you for keep me honest. I did not mean to say StarCraft. I meant to say Warcraft. That is absolutely correct.
Warcraft 3.
Get it
Warcraft.
right, nerd.
Yeah, my bad.
You tell
We
me
all
you never
make
killed the Lich King?
mistakes. Shit, look at the mistakes Iron Mace are making. Now they're in this fucking legal battle. Anyway, there's the P3 Nexon P3 project game screenshot. It looks pretty similar, but Dad's better. All right,
I
let's
mean,
get to
yeah,
it.
it looks less gamey.
From what I heard about the whole Dota Warcraft thing is that they just had to replace the assets that were in question, right? So if it comes to that, I wonder if it's just that easy. You just have to swap some stuff out.
I don't know. We'll see. Continuing on, the accused member initiated the takedown of the personal servers, but due to the uncertainty of sporadic COVID waves, taking down the server in a quick and exhaustive manner was not a high priority. As a result, some automated scripts related to the build machine were left running on his personal server at this time. When the buildings next to his office were shut down due to confirmed COVID cases, he took a risk and fully set up his personal servers to aid in development. Oof. Yeah. Since all company machines were monitored using a company-wide endpoint solution, the existence and usage of his personal servers, ones that were subject of approvals and reapprovals, must be reasonably known to Nexon over this multi-month period of development. Not a single warning was received from that security team, so it's easy to construe it as acknowledgement that his actions were acceptable. Otherwise, it would mean that Nexon would be failing at taking reasonable measures to maintain the confidentiality of their assets. It gets a little tricksy there. It gets a little sticky, Yeah. Okay.
It sounds a little guilty.
It's riding the line of like a fuck up, for sure. I mean, it is a fuck up. It's a fuck up.
Yeah. That's for the lawyer to figure out.
Yeah, that's not on us.
Good thing it's not me.
Yeah, for sure.
That's tricky, right? Because it's like he had initial. He was initially allowed to do it, and then I guess they asked him, is what it says on the thing, but he never quite got around to it. And then no one ever said anything to him after that, and so he just kind of kept it up. Is essentially the gist of that.
Well, it was due to like COVID waves and like they had to go back into lockdown, right? And they still had to work, so he left shit running, and it was like approved and then reapproved, but then they said stop earlier, but then lockdowns happened. It said sporadic COVID waves, which meant they had to. I don't know. There's a gray area, There is a gray fucking area.
Yeah.
Continuing on, the accused member decided to leave Nexon in June 2021 due to a breakdown of trust with one of his superiors and due to the uncertain atmosphere at the company. His prior project was unceremoniously canceled after a well-received milestone presentation in 2020, and numerous other projects around him were also canceled during this time. Interesting. Having worked closely with his dev team, he informed them that his plans to leave Nexon. He made it clear that the reason for leaving was due to the uncertain atmosphere fostered at the company. I get that.
Yep.
He also stated that he'd welcome the team's talents for his next endeavor. He made it clear that he'd likely pursue a project in the same genre as the P3 project, but explicitly clarified that any development would be made completely from scratch. Okay, show the proof. This fact has been noted in witness testimony collected by the police. Okay, there we go. Investigating a separate personal lawsuit filed against the accused member by Nexon. Interesting. I wonder who it is over there. I hope it's not SDF. SDF is like
I'm pretty sure it is.
Is it? Okay, damn.
I think so.
Yeah.
He's like the head creative nerd that's over there. He seems pretty cool. He's the one that answers
He runs the whole development or something.
Exactly, yeah. He's like the head nerd that answers like the Q&A and shit when we did the Q&A a couple episodes back or whatever.
Yeah.
He was the one that was answering.
Yep.
Shortly after Nexon's leadership became aware of the accused member's plans to leave the company, instead of trying to resolve it in a professional manner, they abruptly sent the internal audit team and accused him of stealing files, despite having observed his personal server being used without notice for several months. Due to harassment and the lack of respect from the company, and after consulting with his lawyers, he concluded that his private information on his private servers was not subject to any record, so he deleted his information to ensure his privacy. Ooh. Let's read that again. Due to harassment and the lack of respect from the company, and after consulting with his lawyers, he concluded that his private information on his private servers was not subject to any record, so he deleted his information to ensure his privacy. I hope no information was deleted that could help his case.
Well, it seems like there was probably some information on there that Nexon wanted, and he did not give it to them and deleted it. So,
interesting.
I think that's might be a big reason why they're
lawyer
fucking
told
pissed.
him to do that. Hope he got a good lawyer to give him that advice.
Yeah, allegedly a lawyer told him to do that.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Continuing on, he was fired based on these unproven claims and subsequently sued by the company a month later. Sued by Nexon as a personal dude. That sucks.
Yep.
With liens placed on his home and other assets. His personal lawsuit is still ongoing, and the claims of stealing or misappropriating these files have not been substantiated. He has been fully cooperative with the investigation from the police and has been the target of multiple search warrants. Iron Mace has also been the subject of multiple search warrants during this investigation and has been as accommodating as possible to speed up this process and prove no wrongdoing. The fact that 9 of the 20-plus P3 project team members voluntarily left Nexon out of their own free will to join Iron Mace, despite the inherent risk of joining a startup, shows the trust that the accused member instills in his peers. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that... I mean, that's notable, I guess.
I just find it hard to believe you would get in trouble for like trying to convince some of your boys that you work with to go work somewhere else with you. You know,
it's like the Jerry Maguire thing. Who's coming with me? You know,
I think it's I think right now in this message, it's very properly worded, right? But I think, things get messed up on the grapevine. It probably started like, hey, like, I'm going to leave Nexon and I'm going to go make my own game. Like, I'm going to make the game we want to make. That's probably how it came off initially. And then it gets to the company and they're like, yo, he's going to leave and make the exact same game. Like, he's stealing from us. And that's probably the feeling they had. So it's like, So, yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, 9 people out of 23, like, that's like 40% of people said, fuck it, I'll leave and go start. I mean, that's
that is notable. Sure. It's significant, yeah. All right.
That is trust, but it's dicey.
As a secondary contention, the takedown notice submitted by Nexon then alleges that the founder of Iron Mace, Terrence Park, knew that the accused member used stolen trade secrets and copyrighted material to develop Dark and Darker to knowingly benefit oneself and Iron Mace, basing this claim purely on past association without offering any proof.
Before we get into this next part, I actually want to highlight one bit. It said he has a personal lawsuit still ongoing.
Yes.
And he left the company in 2021. So it's 2 years. I mean, I imagine it wasn't like the day he left, but pretty shortly thereafter, you'd have to imagine. So that means it's still going on. So scary, but that could tell you the timeline of like how long Nexon's going to be going after Iron Mace.
Well, you have to think about it like this. When you leave a company, a corporation like this, like I've left startups before, I left Twitch after a few years. You sign an agreement when you leave. saying, I will not work on a similar project or for a similar company, a non-compete for X amount of months, right?
Yep.
They probably waited however long, right, before they could start engaging with the new project to protect themselves. There's a big gap in time. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying we might read more and find that that's the case. I don't know. I haven't read this yet. I was waiting for the podcast.
Well, no, I think the original lawsuit is over him. Let's see here. So it says shortly after blah blah blah, his private information to record. He deleted all of it to ensure his privacy. He was fired based on these unproven claims and subsequently sued by the company a month later. So it means 2 years. I mean, about, maybe a year and a half, depending on when he left in 2021. So it's like, damn. Is the Iron Mace lawsuit a completely different thing, or is it just a facet of this personal lawsuit? That's, I guess, something I want to understand as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would imagine they're two separate things that they just like would reference one to the other or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like make the connection to Iron Mace.
Right. Well, this is the response to the claim. The founder of the company has no knowledge that any stolen trade secrets or copyrighted material were ever used to develop Dark and Darker. In fact, the founder has on multiple occasions told members of his team that they must be extra diligent in ensuring that everything is done by the books in order to uphold the vision and branding of the company. The takedown notice then states that Nexon's P3 game has never been disclosed to a third party during this period in an attempt to strengthen their claims, that the only way to come up with a similar idea was to have stolen it. However, this claim can be clearly proven false. Nexon disclosed P3 in a media showcase in August 2021 to members of the gaming media, who then wrote about it in multiple blogs and articles as shown below. There's some links here. The takedown notice then states that no other games had the same concept, genre, and plot as the P3 game, even though none of the contents of these categories are original, and other games like Expedition Agartha have all three that are very similar. The notice then states that within a mere 10 months of forming Iron Mace, its demo test version of Dark and Darker became publicly available in August 2022. The notice states that it is impossible for Iron Mace to have developed Dark and Darker in such a short time frame without using Nexon's trade secrets and confidential information, again without offering any proof. Here's our response to this claim. Just because it may be difficult for a large bureaucratic company such as Nexon to develop games in such a short time frame does not mean it's impossible for another studio, big, small, new, or old, to develop games quickly. Okay. Firstly, Iron Mace started with a larger team at the beginning of development. Secondly, the starting team composition was better set for quick development with a heavy focus on programming. Thirdly, the P3 project team did not have a server programmer, while Iron Mace made sure to have one from the very start due to the importance of building a stable server architecture. Fortunately, we have evidence we will be releasing soon that shows exactly how we built our game so quickly and efficiently. Firstly, we rely on utilizing as many store-bought assets as possible for use as 3D game objects, as that comprises the bulk of the cost and time in game development. We will soon release a list of the store-bought assets that were used in the development of Dark and Darker to show how almost all 3D assets were purchased from the Unreal Marketplace. We also have numerous videos providing evidence of key milestone builds from our early internal playtests up until our most recent tests, showing our progress and how we built the game from the ground up that will soon start to post online. For the more technically minded, we will also show the logs and file lists from our Git version control repository from the very first push up until when we added our in-house anti-cheat implementation, about a year's worth of development logs, so other developers can easily see the progression of our game and how unlikely it is to sneak in stolen code and assets. Since key members of Iron Mace were also on the development team of the P3 project and know how quickly and haphazardly the P3 project was built, if anything, using assets, design, and code built for that project would have been a hindrance rather than a benefit to the development of Dark and Darker. Since key members of Iron Mace were also on the dev team of P3 and know how quickly and haphazardly the P3 project was built, if anything, using assets, design, and code built for that project would have been a hindrance rather than a benefit to the development of Dark and Darker. That is hilarious. I love that last sentence.
Professional middle finger on paper, if I've ever heard one.
That's fucking beautiful.
Well, I think all the assets being bought on the store probably does them a big, huge +1 for them as far as the lawsuit goes. But that's interesting. I mean, like, I think if you have the framework for anything, right, it's like easier to do it. Like make a video or write a paper. If you know the idea or someone's written a paper very similar and you want to kind of like build on that idea, I think it's a lot easier and a lot quicker to figure out how to make that, right?
Yeah.
I'd agree. I
Cuts
think
out a lot
since
of
they
time, man.
yeah, they had the whole framework of P3 to build it off of. I mean, and look, we're not in the lawsuit, right? Like we can speak candidly. They made P3, but they made it different. I mean, like,
Well, yeah, it's like if you're writing a story and then your computer bricks and you lose the fucking file and you have to start over and you still have the story in your head, it's going to come out slightly differently, but be pretty close to how you first drafted it, right? I think
and
it's
you're probably
going to
write that one a lot quicker too.
Exactly.
You already know all the beats and you can figure that out. So it can make sense why they did that. I should say how, but that's fucking funny though. It'd be a hindrance rather than a benefit.
I love that. The notice then states that Nexon conducted a comparative analysis of Dark and Darker and the P3 game. They state that they found over 2,338 resources with identical file names between the two games, proving that the number of identical file names is too substantial for mere coincidence. Here is our response to this claim. They were kind enough to list all the identical file names after removing the ones that are similar due to the usage of the same engine and appended it to the Exhibit D of their takedown claim. Other remaining 1,032 resources listed in Exhibit D with identical names, 950 are due to being identical store-bought assets and plugins for the Unreal Engine. So they don't have a leg to stand on that. The remaining 82 identical resource files, actually 41 resources because the file names are duplicates with variations in the extension names, can be easily explained due to recommended file naming conventions and general conceptual names that would be similar in a typical first-person fantasy game. We would welcome and be happy to do a comparative analysis of the actual content of these identically named files through a third-party auditor, if Nexon agrees to provide their files. We have provided a list of sources for all the identical resources listed by Nexon. The notice then states the similarities in the character design and other setting and structural designs of the two games. Our response is that both games rely on very traditional classic fantasy tropes, none of which are original and can be found in numerous other fantasy games, including the listed character classes and the torch mechanics. That's true. Both games being in the same genre of a classic fantasy dungeon crawler can explain these similarities. The notice then states that even if, as Iron Mace has argued in media statements, the graphic assets, including character designs, were purchased from the Unreal Marketplace, it does not explain the numerous specific aspects of the character and Dark and Darker characters that were different from that of graphic assets available for purchase on Unreal Marketplace, but are identical to the aspects of the character found in the P3 game. Here is our response to this claim. For clarity, much of the 3D graphic assets were purchased from the Unreal Marketplace, but many 2D graphic elements, including character concept art and UI, were created in-house. The character concept artworks are based on very traditional fantasy subject matter and tropes, which explains their similarities. Furthermore, the character concept artwork for both games are created by the same individual, explaining the similarities in style. We will soon link a separate document from our concept artist explaining the core differences in the artwork and why our artwork is not an infringement of the characters in P3 game. The document will display other concept artwork found through a Google image search for the same subject matter, showing the similarities due to the common fantasy tropes. The notice then states that the level and extent of the two games' key concepts, genre, and storyline make it clear that Iron Mace must have used Nexon's trade secrets to create Dark and Darker. Again, both the concepts and storyline are purposely traditional and generic and can be found in many fantasy games, including pen and paper RPGs, which is one of the main inspirations of Dark and Darker. The premise of adventures delving into dungeons full of monsters and treasures in their quest to seek riches is so generic and common that it can be broadly applied in numerous other fantasy games. Just for fun, we asked ChatGPT to come up with a description for a generic PvP dungeon crawling game that created an eerily similar game description below. Content from ChatGPT. Certainly. Here's a generic game description for a PvP dungeon crawling game. In this PvP dungeon crawling game, players compete against each other in a dangerous and mysterious dungeon filled with traps, puzzles, and monsters. Players choose their characters from a variety of classes, each with unique abilities and playstyles. They must navigate through the dungeon, fight off waves of monsters, and solve puzzles to progress deeper into the dungeon. However, in addition to battling monsters, players must also face off against each other in intense PvP combat. They can attack other players to steal their loot or gain an advantage, but they must also be careful not to get caught off guard by enemy players. Along the way, players will collect loot, weapons, and magical items that will help them in their quest. They can also trade items with other players to buy and sell items from NPC shops. The gameplay involves strategic decision-making, as players must decide when to attack other players and when to focus on advancing through the dungeon. They must also manage their resources carefully, as they have a limited supply of weapons, spells, and health. The ultimate goal of the game is to reach the deepest level of the dungeon and defeat the final boss, all while outsmarting and defeating other players. This game offers an exciting and competitive experience for players who both enjoy PvE and PvP gameplay.
Yep.
That's
and
hilarious.
a robot wrote that one.
Thank you.
That's the funny part to me. They
Thank
threw
you,
that
bot.
shit in their claims and stuff.
Good bot. Good bot.
Well, I don't know how. I don't
It
know
would depend how it was
substantial
prompted,
that's
right?
going to be in court, right? Yeah.
I think. I
Find
mean,
me
they
one
said
boomer
just
and
for
those-
fun. They said
and
just for
those.
fun. We did
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
just for fun, we asked for a description for a generic PvP dungeon crawling game. Okay. And then finally, the shared characteristics of the two games that the notice points out in Exhibit E are again easily explained by conventions found commonly in the shared game genres and are found in many other similar games. Given the information presented, it is difficult to believe that Nexon, in good faith, could reasonably believe that Iron Mace has infringed on the copyrights of their P3 project. They also provide no actual evidence that Iron Mace misappropriated Nexon's trade secret information in the creation of Dark and Darker, but instead base it on circumstantial claims. Finally, they accuse Iron Mace of a flagrant breach of Valve's SSA and SOCR, restricting our ability to provide our game to players in the largest mainstream PC game platform and severely obstructing our ability to do business. Iron Mace requests that Nexon renounce their baseless claims. If they would like to compete on merit, we welcome Nexon to promptly accommodate the comparison of source code, custom assets, and design documents with the police to quickly and decisively put an end to this matter. Okay.
Calling them out with the mic
There you
drop
go.
and all.
That was a lot of reading. My throat was getting dry.
You speed ran it though. I'm impressed.
Reading's fun. Yeah, that was a lot. Look, man, I hope Iron Mace can sort this shit out. We don't want to fucking lose Dad. We want Dad to come home.
I don't want to play Tarkov anymore.
I don't want to play DayZ anymore.
Don't make me go back.
Why? Why? I know. It's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
We need Dad to
You
come
know,
home. Also,
The one
if-
copium thing I've heard is that they can counter the DMCA after 14 days or something. That's like the last ditch hope, I think, right? Getting it
not
back
the
on
last
Steam for the
ditch.
playtest or something.
Oh, for the playtest. Dude, I don't think that's happening. I don't think it's. And you know what?
I don't think either.
I'm actually. Hear me out. Kind of cool that because my fucking family is visiting unannounced, April 11th through the 17th, which is going to ruin my playtest. No, it still sucks. I'd rather have the playtest for sure. But yeah.
Maybe they
I wish it was
skip
here. yeah.
straight into early access. Maybe it works out.
Maybe. We'll see, I guess. By the way, guys, One
I don't
Peg.
know.
One Peg made a video. The weakest lawsuit, Nexon versus Iron Mace and Dark and Darker. I'm going to link it in both chats. It's 35 minutes, 36 minutes pretty much. Breaks everything down. He did a good job covering everything. If you want to watch that, if you want more content about it, go ahead and check it out. The video is linked in chats, both chats. Chat GPT. Not really, not Chat GPT, just Jay and my chat. But anyway, go watch that video if you'd like. One Peg does a good job. I don't know about you guys. I have hope. It's the best thing.
I had no hope until they put out this announcement. It made me feel a bit better.
Same Z's, buddy. It did make me feel better. That made me feel better for sure. Yeah.
I don't know if them saying all this stuff publicly in a Discord is the best, but
Well, I think it's
respect
important
it.
to communicate to everybody.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
I hope it
with
doesn't legally harm them, but I hope that.
right.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing because, like, obviously we're all sitting here going, like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
So.
Shall we do a little Q&A hangout for the next 15 minutes? Chat,
Sure. Yeah.
you got anything for us, chat?
Oh, chat's going wild.
Yeah, chat, what you got
Buck
for us?
wild.
Buck wild. So, let's see here. Sens 00 said, whole lawsuit is Nexon's way of stalling Iron Mace to market. They aren't going to receipt any claims. I agree. They're not going to receipt any claims. Definitely not. They can't at this point. It's like fucking news over in Korea, right? And they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They're not just going to be like, our bad, sorry about that. We're just going to back off. You go ahead and make your money. No, that's not going to happen at all. No. And it is a way to stall Iron Mace because they are probably pissed off that they're missing out on a bunch of potential money because all they really have is fucking shitty-ass MapleStory.
Yeah.
They have Counter-Strike's Studio. How they get away with that one?
What is Counter-Strike Studio?
I don't even know
It's
what
a
that is.
Nexon game. Literally called Counter-Strike. I don't know how they get away with that shit.
That's weird.
Counter-Strike
That's very-
Studio.
that's
It's
very
trash. I looked at it.
Counter-Strike Nexon Studio. It has mixed
My
reviews.
thought on this,
Yeah.
it's not like it's a court case, right? This is just like DMCA first step. I don't know if
No,
cease and
this
desist
is-
means that it is.
I mean, I
Well,
think it's the start of something pretty damn serious.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
it's
start.
It's
I
the
just don't
start.
think
It's
it's
leading to
big.
something
what you're
serious.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially cease and desist. I mean, as far as I understand, is if you don't stop what you're doing, we are going to sue we're going to sue you. Like we're going to
Right.
come after
Okay.
you legally.
Yes.
Um,
The cease and desist
first
is a
shot of
warning
many.
shot. Yeah, it's a warning shot fired
Yeah.
off.
Gotcha.
Let's see here. I am Lavitt says, what if Nexon wins and they buy the rights for D&D and launch it themselves? I don't think they'd be able to afford it. And Nexon would just put a premium price tag on it, right?
Yeah.
Now, the one scenario...
$1 per high roller game. If you want to get in.
Oh my god, can you imagine that? And buy this fucking purple sword for $20 before you go in too.
Purple. $20.
Oh yeah.
Damn. I'd be rich. I'd be selling that thing all day.
Oh, that's not for you to sell. That's for Nexon to sell to some P3 gamer that wants the purple sword before they go into the $1 fucking high roller. Pay to win, baby. That's the Nexon
I'll
way.
them on a third-party site.
imagine you could do gambling in your video game. Like you could pay $1, do a high roller, and like if you win $10. You pay $1 to go into the high roller, but if you come out, dude, Nexon takes a
Sounds
cut.
kinda fun.
They take 20%. The degeneracy on Twitch. Can you imagine? It'd be worse than the whole gambling thing. There'd be like private high rollers going on, like $100, get in this fucking lobby, let's go. Like
Yeah.
just absolute degenerates. I'd watch.
Hmm.
I'd subscribe.
I'd be RMTing out of my mind in that game, dude. Are you kidding me?
Interesting.
That'd be amazing. That's the next. That's what we do. We get a DraftKings sponsor for Dark and Darker. Like use promo code STAB and get your first 5 high roller games free. Dude,
I live like half a mile away from the DraftKings HQ. They have a big ass fucking building here in Vegas, really close to my house.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It's like a really nice building, and then their parking lot is a bunch of like dirty ass gravel. It's fucking weird. And like there's always like big trucks parked out front. Yeah, we like our big raised vehicles, our trucks. We drive to the gravel
Who do you
pit,
think-
and then we go
Who
gambling.
do you think likes to bet? Like who do you think enjoys betting?
Big truck boys.
Probably.
This is a good question.
Yeah.
Do you guys think the deleted private server hurts or help them? Because it's like if you flush drugs down the toilet and tell the cop, then what? You know what I mean?
I don't think it's helpful. I don't know if
I
it
don't know.
hurts, but it certainly doesn't help.
Right.
I don't know.
I guess it depends what was on there. And
Yeah.
How bad they really wanted that server.
Yeah. Just by chance says, would you be satisfied with some sort of settlement royalties deal Iron Mace could make with Nexon, where they receive X% of revenue per sale? If that's what we had to do, we like we're a part of the fucking team over here.
Yeah.
If that's what Iron Mace had to do,
You know, me and the boys.
that would be pretty bleak. That would suck. But I could see that being something that happens potentially. They might settle, you know?
Yeah.
Settle out of court before they even get to court.
I think the
right?
question there is like how big of a slice of the cookie does Nexon want though? That's the concern.
I mean, it's a fucking billion-dollar corporation. It's the evil.
They're gonna want that whole.
It's
cookie.
the Korean version of like EA or Activision Blizzard, right? I mean,
Oh God.
that's what it is over there, pretty
Yeah.
much, right? I mean, how many? Raise your hand if you like EA or Activision Blizzard. Not me. Does anyone
Oh,
really?
if you like, okay.
If you like
It's
them?
it's so you,
Are they the saviors of gaming? Are they doing right by us, gamers? Are they doing right
Some
by
would
us?
say
Anybody?
EA ruined it all. On the monetization
Well,
out here.
I
Man,
think Activision's worse. Honestly, that's just my.
they
opinion.
take turns being the worst villain.
Yeah.
Fair.
They just fucking go back. The pendulum swings over here. They're the assholes. Then they're the
You
assholes.
know, at least
then they
EA
do something
didn't have
dirty.
a Bill Cosby room, all right? we can give them that pass, okay?
Right.
They weren't stealing milk, like breast milk from women, like that's
They were
they still
doing
don't
it.
have like. Oh, dude, they had. Look,
The
I'm not- this is a
Jeffrey
whole tirade,
Dahmer cellar has not been unlocked yet. Okay, I'm sure
Yeah.
there's something in the EA basement.
No, but they had a whole the state of California had like the biggest sexual harassment suit ever against Activision Blizzard a few years ago
For the
for just
Cosby
all the
room,
crazy
yeah.
shit they were doing. Yeah, they had a room
I've
where all
heard
the
about
big
it all. I didn't know about stealing the breast milk. Jesus.
yeah. It's
What's
just,
wrong with
well,
you?
allegedly, like allegedly, should put that out there.
Oh man, I didn't realize Star Wars was EA. Got it from Steam for $5 and installed EA app. I'm scared. Yeah, you enjoy that psychology. The cease and desist
$5
says
though,
Nexon
not bad.
invested at least 815,000 USD developing P3. So what if Nexon just like give us $1 million, pay us $1 million, and you can continue?
I'd pay that GoFundMe.
I was actually considering starting the GoFundMe, just jumping in the
You're just
arena.
gonna just mail them the check or what?
First of all, I would never actually do that. You don't want to be in the middle of that shit. You don't want to throw
Oh,
your hat
fuck
in the
no.
ring. But if there was,
Right.
if there was one, I would give him $100 right now.
Help them out, but I don't want to
Yep.
be. I don't want to be in charge. I don't want Nexon's hammer
No.
coming down on my life. I don't have anything anyways, but please don't take it. Like, we're gonna take the podcast, boys. No.
Ungzabo's right. Iron Mace would raise the money in under a day. I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
And yes, they would stand
Dude,
to make
people are in
way
there
more than
begging
that.
for it. They're like, just make a GoFundMe. We'll help with legal fees. Up and down in that Discord.
I'm sure they have thought about it. They're probably sitting around the table in their studio, eating some delicious fucking kimchi, drinking some soju. They're probably fucking like, God damn it, this is our life right now. Should we make a GoFundMe? And they're fucking eating and they're fucking drinking the soju. They're drinking a nice bottle of Height beer, maybe some Cass. They're taking a sip and they're like, we really want to do that, but it's probably a bad idea at the moment. Maybe later it'll come. I think at this
hard
point,
too, because 2 months time they would have all been millionaires.
pretty
bad.
much, dude. Dude, I wish I had
Oh,
some
wow.
fucking kimchi and a Height. That sounds good right now. I love Korea.
I got
Korea's fun.
kimchi and a Cass. That's all I got.
It's fucking delicious. I love Height.
Even a cask.
Cass beer. There's like Korean
Oh.
beers, Height and Cass, and they're delicious. And kimchi over in Korea with just some like white rice or some kimchi suge. Is that how you say kimchi soup? Suge? That shit's so
Kimchi
fun.
jjigae.
Jjigae. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kimchi jjigae. That shit is so good with some bibimbap. You dip it in the kimchi soup.
Oh yeah.
Oh, shit's fucking delicious. Korean food's awesome. Anyway. Man, it's sad. It's sad times. I really hope Iron Mace figures this out. It's
Yeah.
sad. Sad times. But we have to have
All right,
hope.
how much we
gentlemen. Do
bet
you
the
guys
play
have hope?
test is on time?
$0. I'm not betting at all. I
I'll
don't
throw a
think.
5 down.
All right. You might as well take a $5 bill and fucking take a Bic lighter under it and
Well,
fling it, because that shit ain't happening. I really, truly
do
do
have
not
hope,
think it's
but-
happening. Not in April. Not in
No. They're
Not in
really
April.
don't. I have
No
hope
way.
that they'll pull out from it, but who knows how long? It's gonna be so long that the hype will be gone by then. I think.
No. I don't think the hype will be
No.
gone. No way. I think that so many people agree that this is a beacon of light in the darkness that is PC gaming for the last several years. People see this indie studio, this hobbit running through the dark cave being chased by a giant fucking Nexon spider, and this cute little hobbit has this one little ring, dark and darker, and it's trying to escape to the light, and we're here to rescue it. We want to take the one. I don't know why I'm talking about Lord of the Rings. I'm being a nerd.
Yeah, minus the analogy. I think everyone
the
likes
analogies suck.
Underdog.
I've never been good
think,
at analogies. What can I say?
You're fine.
Yeah.
No, but I think everybody likes an underdog, right? I think this sucks, but them being the small indie studio, I think people are going to rally around them. Well, let's hope so. You know, unless it comes out that they just blatantly stole from this company, then it might be a little, But let's hope not. I don't think they did. I think that was a pretty thorough response, and I think they were honest. You know, I think they were pretty honest about the parts that were gray, because like obviously the whole private server thing was like he was asked, and then like nobody followed up with him, and then COVID, so it's like so you can tell he's kind of being honest there. So we'll see. Nexon has a lot of money though.
That
I'm just
they
saying,
do.
I've never seen a Nexon show.
True.
Dude, wait till you get some angry Koreans in your chat who just love Nexon games. Just come in here and tear you up.
Is there any other countries that play Nexon games a lot? Like where is Maple Story popular? Chat, anyone know?
Probably Asia.
I couldn't tell you. I heard it's 100,000 USD to buy like full bis of Maple Story though. One of those guys is definitely a shill.
That's some bullshit. That's
so
fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Let's see. They have made Maple Story, Vindictus, which I mean, kind of a funny name. Cartwriter, V4, nothing else you would know. Godzilla Defense Force, dude. Whoa.
Wow.
Check it out. I guess Maple Story is like the big money maker.
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
I don't think they play anything else.
I heard you
V4
literally
is like a
have
big
to spend
MMO.
money to play Maple Story. Like you can't get any relatively good gear without spending some dollars.
Yeah, it's on
terrible.
Android. You can get this new MMO they have on Android. They have a mobile MMO. Weird.
Arcalia says, what if this form of passive aggressiveness is because they have all their T's crossed and I's dotted to the point at which they get this shut down instantly? At J.
What do you mean they're saying it with their chest because they're so confident? That might be a stretch.
Big boy confidence, dude. Big boy confidence.
Weird.
Well, we will see how things play out in the coming weeks. We need to stay positive, like I said in the beginning of the episode. We have to remain hopeful that Iron Mace is true to their word, that they aren't thieves and the baddies, and that they are the champions that we need as the dark grows darker. We'll see.
They're gonna lead us out of the dark dungeons, dude.
More analogies.
They're gonna blue portal us out, dude. They're gonna
Nice.
pop the portals for us.
Nah, dude, you guys are looking for a blue portal. I'm looking for red. This is going deeper, boys. We're not getting out of here anytime soon. We're going to legal battles. If that isn't like actual hell, I don't know what is. But we're taking a red portal down.
We must go deeplier. The deepest. Deeplier.
Yeah. Hopefully they find like a nice epic down there to fight off Nexon with. I don't know. We'll see.
The Sword of a Thousand Truths.
Yeah, if you could have one epic to fight Nexon with, what would it be?
The Sword of a Thousand Truths.
Yeah. Only truth. Yeah.
I will say this before we go. Even if Dark and Darker dies, and it is a game no more, it never comes back on Steam, Iron Mace goes kaput, I, for one, think that we should keep this podcast going. The Darkest Hour should just continue on. It could just be a generalist podcast about games and bullshit and just a bunch of nerds hanging out for an hour or two once a week. Why not? Chat, what do you guys think? Right? We should, right? This has been fun.
Or we know.
The first Dark and Darker clone that comes out, we're switching gears then.
Switching gears.
This is the P3 podcast.
Hey!
No.
Dude, turns out Nexon, kind of a cool company.
Oh, no, I hope
Nexon
not.
banner. You know?
Yeah, right.
Oh God! But for real though,
Sponsored by.
for real though, I think even if the game dies, we keep this podcast going because I got to be honest, it's super fucking fun doing this with you guys, and I want to continue it regardless of Dark and Darker. But let's hope that Dad remains the pillar of our Sunday ritual, right?
Just think of all the DayZ we can talk about.
Oh my gosh! Hey, I will say, if a new DayZ map comes out though, like those are gonna be good days. That's gonna be a good time.
No pun intended.
Just you wait. You keep building bases, messing around, and having a good time with your cars and whatnot. But when the new Namalsk or whatever comes out, oh, I'm sweating. I'm in.
We'll see. That's a tall order. After
what?
After 25,000 hours of DayZ and 12 years, I'm damn tired.
If Sumrak, the guy that made Namalsk, comes out with a sick new map, whole new quest line, bunch of new dope areas, you're playing. Don't lie to yourself. You're gonna play.
Yeah,
probably.
What if you threw some dinosaurs in?
Dinosaurs?
Dude, I want gorillas. I want like robotic gorillas to kill me. I want something weird. I want Yetis. I want Yetis on Namalsk.
I want aliens. I want aliens.
Like the alien spaceship?
A little bit.
Kinda. Are there aliens? Has anyone?
You can go to.
I've never seen the planet. Are there like aliens on that planet?
I don't think
Not
so.
that I've seen.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Which sucks. There should be.
Yeah.
But
I've never seen anyone with a Gauss rifle.
Now, the bloodsuckers and the spiders and all the crazy shit in the dino map, dude, Jay, you're missing out. I'm telling you, that shit's fucking cool.
I'm ready to play. I'll play whenever.
Maybe we should fucking do it this week, finally. Donnie, what do you think?
What, Namalsk?
No, like, do the dino map and, like, show Jay the actual, like, key card progression path.
I'm not taking point this time.
Well, you ran ahead, just like the guy that dies halfway through the Jurassic Park film. You ran off ahead. Something shiny, and you ran off ahead, and guess what? You got fucking picked off.
Fuck.
That's how it goes down.
A little bit.
I think you got too confident. You're like, fucking dinosaur. These guys are being dumb. Like, I'm not scared of some fucking dinos. And we're like,
Yeah.
you better.
Yeah.
You just ran off and got murked.
They fucking eat ass. They mean it.
No, I'm down. I
just went up a hill and it was 5 steps away. It was over for me.
It's rough out there once you cross into the gate, dude. I'm just saying.
I just want the server to be full, and I'm down. It's just if there's no PvP, kind of, it's not as fun.
If there is 20 plus people in the server, it's worth it, in my opinion.
Okay,
that's worth it. If it's less than 20, it's kind of. By the way, before we roll out of here, I went to a sneak peek of a film today. Ooh. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
No.
I saw it today at 2 p.m. in IMAX. It was fucking awesome.
Was it the whole movie?
I saw the whole movie. It was fucking great, dude. I loved it. If you're a D&D fan, if you have ever played or you're just slightly into it, it's worth it. There is a ton of items and spells and monsters and areas and cool, cheeky little D&D factoids and jokes that are tossed around that makes it quite worth it. I highly recommend watching that movie. Solid 9 out of 10 for me. And I laughed out loud like several times. It was good. And I rarely laugh out loud in the theater, but I fucking did like 3 or 4 times. It was good. Nexon is going after that movie next. God damn them. But yeah, check out the movie. It was honestly fun. I'm going to go see it again in theaters. That's how much
When did it come out?
Like in a week or something like that, or like 3-4 days.
Have you guys,
a few days from now.
I want to go see John Wick 4. I've heard
so do I. People are saying it's the best John Wick film yet. It's better than the other 3.
It's already out?
It's coming out in like 3 days, I think. Or is it already out?
Okay.
When did John Wick 4
Maybe
come
it's
out?
coming out this week.
John Wick 4 release.
There's
came out 2 days ago.
Going to movies and getting a big ass bucket of popcorn.
Came out 2 days ago.
Yeah, it's already. I might go. 10:30. What?
And then Honor Among Thieves comes out on the 31st. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I plan on seeing John Wick 4 soon.
Very nice.
I also saw that movie 65 with Adam Driver, Kylo Ren. Where?
Is that good?
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't that great.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, did you see it?
No, I didn't. I didn't even never heard of it.
65 is essentially humanity is super advanced and they traverse the stars and this pilot is flying a ship with a bunch of passengers on board and they get hit by an asteroid and they crash land on an uncharted planet. And it's Earth, but it's 65 million years ago when there's dinosaurs.
Okay,
It's fucking
I
cool.
have a question.
It was pretty cool.
Movies, so.
I have a question about this movie because the thought came to my head. Now, obviously, humans were we around 65 million years ago?
I don't think so.
Like 8 versions probably, or we were shrews or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So here's my problem with the movie. Is my mind, I've seen a few movies, and I see Adam Driver with this little girl, and I'm thinking like, okay, so at the end of the movie, it's going to explain like how humans came to Earth. And then I'm like, well, how old is the young lady that Adam Driver's with? Like, what is that the ending of the movie? Is like they like repopulate and like create humanity?
I mean, I don't want to spoil it. There is a really cool little sequence as the credits are about to hit. That's pretty badass. I kind of recommend sticking around to watch that. But no, he doesn't. Adam Driver, the 40-year-old, doesn't hook up with the 10-year-old. No.
I was just
Thank
asking.
God.
Because you would think that is the angle. They're like, at the end of the movie, it's like, she's pregnant. She's carrying the babies that are going to make Earth human. And you're like, all right, well,
No.
that's where the movie goes.
That's not, luckily, thank God it did not go there. Fuck me, that'd
Right.
be awful. No, it didn't go there. Check it out.
You might have walked
Check it
out
out
of
when
the
it
theater in handcuffs.
that would have been fucked up, dude. That would have been awful. I thought it was like a popcorn flick, right? Like I'm happy I watched it, but there was like 3 other people in the theater. Like it was not a great showing
that's
in terms
rated.
of people coming out. But I actually did kind of have fun with it, so check it out. But Honor Among Thieves, 100% worth watching.
I'm excited to watch it, and I
34%.
barely know Dungeons and Dragons.
There was some dumb Hollywood bullshit in the movie in 65. You should watch D&D. You should watch Honor Among Thieves though, Jay. It's if you're into fantasy nerdy shit, it's still good. But people keep saying in my chat and your chat something about Outlander. What is that?
What is Outlander?
Is
What
that
the
the
fuck
one with
is that?
Brad Pitt or Matt Damon?
Matt
Thanks.
Damon.
It's a 2014 TV show?
Outlander,
Oh.
the film, 2008.
Oh, he says it's a movie.
What is this?
Oh, I'm
shit?
thinking of it. Remember?
Oh, okay, yeah, it's an old movie. Yeah, it's got Jim Caviezel or whatever in it. Yeah, I think I've seen this.
I have no idea what it is.
And I haven't seen this, actually.
During the reign of the
This is-
Vikings, Canaan, a man from a far-off world, crash lands on Earth, bringing with him an alien predator known as the Morwen. Oh, that sounds cool. I'll watch that.
Dude, that's tight. This
That
is
sounds
like
dope.
Beowulf, kind of.
I kind of want to watch that. That sounds cool. I'd check that out. Anyway, boys, this has been episode 10 of The Darkest Hour. Donnie, where can people
Yes.
watch the YouTube videos that you never actually put out because you just talk
Okay,
big
so
game and there's just a lot of missed potential.
I thought it was going to come out, but I wanted to play the beta weekend again because I was like, man.
I checked 3 times, by the way.
I was
Well, thank
waiting,
you. I
dude.
appreciate it.
I was
I'll
refreshing.
let you know. It'll come
Refreshing.
Out. It'll come out.
Okay.
I've got most of it done, probably like 60-75%. I just got to do it, but I wanted to get more of the beta weekend because I was gonna put it out on like Thursday, but I was like, might as well just play the other beta weekend and then have like the full review. Which, by the way, have y'all been
Yes.
playing D4 at all?
I
This weekend?
Oh, yeah.
refunded my pre-order. I'm not a fan.
No.
I actually
Damn.
got bored playing this weekend, and I stopped.
Is
got bored.
the performance better? Has it been better for you guys? It's been about the same for me.
Performance is about the
It's been
same.
actually worse.
It's about the same for me.
Like in the outworld, I feel like in the dungeons it's great, but in the overworld with all the people, like everyone's like dog shit. Like it's just not fun to play. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The part where you
Video
like
one
try
day.
to walk further and you can't go anywhere, you're like stuck in place. Oh my god. Just
Yeah, and then you get
terrible.
like rubber, like fast forward, like and like
Yeah.
oh yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
All I know is
it's
the
not-
Diablo
no game for me.
queue doesn't exist anymore. It went from like an hour to 2 hours to 0.
It's because everybody
Where-
stopped playing.
Yeah, everyone just quit.
Yeah.
I did
hope,
get a
I
little
hope
bored,
people
though.
enjoy it. It's boring. I hope people enjoy it. It's not for me.
I don't like the level scaling. I think that's probably the worst part of the game. Is that
Such a bad
You're playing the
decision. It does seem weird.
Yeah, you're playing the same thing for 35 hours. You're not playing a different game at all. Like the game doesn't change at all. You're just fighting the same enemies.
It
like, same
feels
health bars,
like
same
you
feeling.
get weaker as you level up. It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
little bit.
People have made this distinction already, but you can be like level 24 and you see like a level 12 in the open world with you, and you're fighting the same mob and you're doing the same percentage of damage because they scale it in a way where everyone is like chipping in together, and you just feel weaker as it scales up with you, no matter where you go. I liked in D2 when I could, I would be doing hell runs. I'm like level 90. I'm doing Bale runs in hell, and then I go back to Act 1 Nightmare to rush a buddy, and I raffle stomp everything, and I feel like a powerful Nephilim. And, that doesn't exist in Diablo 4, unfortunately. It
is kind of sad.
That's just the decision they made. That's the game they've built. It's just not for me. And I hope anyone that has not refunded it and is playing enjoys it on release. Go Necromancer. Woohoo.
Yeah. Okay, one last sidetrack before... Actually... Let's finish up and we'll do chat afterwards.
Yeah, we'll do After Dark. We're gonna do After Dark here in a minute. If you watch on YouTube, whenever we do the live stream here, we hang out after, so you should watch live. But Donnie, where can people check you out?
Yes, DuhDonnie on YouTube. I'll make something this week, hopefully, maybe, probably, maybe not.
Mr. JayGriffyuh.
It's been like 5 weeks, man. You gotta stop dragging this along, dude.
I know. I didn't even know what to say to that. I'm just like, let's just move on to Jay.
I'm like that hot girl you keep texting, and you're like, yeah, we should go out this week. And you're like, I'm just busy. Like, I'm I still like you. I promise. I'm just busy. That's me right now with my videos.
Damn, I can relate.
Oh, no. I'm gonna be out of town.
Watch me on Twitch and YouTube. Bam. I play a bunch of random stuff. About it.
JayGriffyuh on Twitch and YouTube. I am @_ Soma on YouTube, and Soma here on Twitch. And Tuesday night will be episode 4 of our Star Wars RPG campaign that I am the GM for. It's pretty fun, so come watch that. We're on the planet of Onderon, and it's pretty awesome. And I think maybe we should try DayZ again maybe this week or something like that. Let me know what you guys think.
I'm very down.
I'm down.
Okay. We'll try to get a DayZ stream in. We might as well. Okay. Thank you so much for watching episode 10 of The Darkest Hour, a Dark and Darker podcast. Hopefully it will remain a Dark and Darker podcast. Go Iron Mace. We stand with you, brothers.
Already mailed him my
multiple Iron Macers.
We
there
need
you
to
go.
bring back Macho Man Randy Savage to bust down the doors of Nexon and go fuck them up. And in this fucking lawsuit, brother.
Donnie. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't fuck anybody up.
Yeah,
Let's
sorry.
do this the right way. Yeah.
Yeah. Macho Man Randy Savage is dead, by the way. So no one's getting harmed.
Okay.
He is
That's
dead.
true. That's true. It's impossible.
God bless him. Yes.
Nice covering your ass.
Bless you, boys, and bless you, chat. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in a couple minutes, in a minute with After Dark. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Peace.
See you.